these X Factor notes cater to that preparation idea of this examination to make your preparation effective, save your man hours for preparation, and keep the content top notch. I and the core team of Civilsdaily will be conducting few of these sessions where we find you do not get any material for that. And these are very conceptual and analytical topics cutting across various spheres. Former student here at Civilsdaily who had written 50 Samachar Manthan tests and then the mains test series as well. I could say the evaluations were not generic, but which were the way the feedbacks and evaluation should look like. That would help you to grow your marks, that will help you to grow your effectiveness in writing the tests. Which would show your final scores as well. The topic here, this is one of the samples of GS2, the first topic being nature of constitution, constitutionalism. Themes like this will be the part of the X Factor notes and X Factor discussions and sessions that we do. You not see the general Gisapita pestle approach or institutions approach. Hello everybody. So after we had done the initial video where we had introduced the entire concept of smashmains and how what would be my role in it, I have been getting a lot of mails and a lot of DMs and a lot of queries, and rightfully so, to understand that how the entire structure would look like and what does it mean when we say what's X Factor notes, what would exactly what I to do, whether I would be checking all the copies and I'll be talking to everybody and give you a mentorship call. So this video is pertaining to answer most of the queries relating to that, and probably does not matter whether you are a veteran or whether you're a first timer writing and expecting to write mains this time. I would try to cater to all those types of queries that I've been getting for the last couple of days and last 2 weeks since we had given the announcement for Smash Mains 2024, which would start on 25th of June 2024. So the one thing which is very clear, it's a test series program. So you'll be writing tests for mains. So you have your sectional test and you have your full length test as well. You can customize yourself as per your own needs as well. But the structure in the timetable is there and you can follow that, which would be sent to the people, and you can access it from the website and from here as well. But apart from writing tests, what is important that we understood that what was necessary to make in the program to make it more holistic was that there's a fine and subtle difference between learning/reading for this exam and preparing for this exam. And it's more important that we cater the latter, the preparation part, more than the reading and the learning part of it. And somebody who is clearing prelims and expected to write means the preparation should be at the forefront and the learning can take a backseat. So we want to save your effective man hours while you'll be on this journey of 2.5 hours of months and will be preparing for your mains. And to be honest, for mains, there's no one-stop solution for any subject. There's no one book. There's neither UPSC recommends any, and neither there's no book like Lakshmikant per se that we read for prelims. Nothing like that, I think, has been developed for mains yet. To cater and to mitigate that gap, these X Factor notes cater to that preparation idea of this examination to make your preparation effective, save your man hours for preparation, and keep the content top notch. So along with the tests that you'll write, sectional/full length, we will be conducting, I and the core team of Civilsdaily will be conducting few of these sessions where we find you do not get any material for that. And these are very conceptual and analytical topics cutting across various spheres. You do not have one subject material per se. It's very evolutionary in nature and a lot of interdisciplinary approaches are required. And for such topics, we would be trying to give a more holistic, wholesome and 360-degree perspective, keeping in line to what is required and customizing it to the needs of the examination, the current trends of the examination, to say. And then the third one is the evaluation part, which is probably the most important part of a test series. I, being a former student here at Civilsdaily, who had written 50 Samachar Manthan tests and then the mains test series as well. I could say the evaluations were not generic, but which were the way the feedbacks and evaluation should look like. That would help you to grow your marks. That will help you to grow your effectiveness in writing the tests, which would show your final scores as well. So, one, I would not be checking all the papers. That's very impractical, but since I got a lot of queries, I just felt that I would just tell the more obvious. It's impractical to check n number of copies that we'll be getting in the program. But the mentors who had checked my copies, the team which had checked my copies, would be the one who would be checking it. And I, per se, would be taking on a general level a lot, check couple of them and give a general feedback on the FLTs, what I would have done, what other value addition I could have done to make it more top-notch and more content-heavy. Because what I've realized is key presentation, how you write and everything is important, but what's the king is the content. And I've always believed that every line I'm writing has to be content-rich and not a very generic statement, because the competition is too tough that you cannot sustain just by writing very obvious opinions and very obvious statements. And that is the reason the X factor is needed, that value addition is needed, that going beyond just pestle approach, going beyond the general temporal approaches is necessary. And in the general feedbacks, that is what I would discuss on a common level on FLTs, that what I would have done and what is needed in that particular test, question wise, or say, to make it more effective. So here is a sample of the same. The topic here this is one of the samples of GS2, the first topic being nature of constitution, constitutionalism, and straight out of the syllabus is Indian constitution, historical underpinnings, evolution, basic structure, so on and so forth. But nobody asks very direct question, explain the basic structure, right? In a lot of materials that we get, you do not even get a lot of context in Lakshmikant per se. So let's forget that, the very widely used resource, which is the best book probably for prelims, but not really for mains. So for mains, let's say even the lot of the good contents that we get in the market, which I as an aspirant have found out, is that the max will get a basic structure, how the evolution of basic structure, and court judgments related to basic structure. But then a lot of things like the content like this that I would show you were not there at one particular destination. And that is the role where the X factor notes have to play to mitigate these gaps, where we are trying to bridge the gap and make it to another one level and giving you content with extreme high quality, customized to the need of the changing trends of the examination. So this topic being, what is the nature of constitution, how constitution has lived to its expectations, what are the loopholes in the constitution, what is constitutional morality. And it's a GS2 syllabus, but we had got a GS4 question on this as well. And a lot of couple of questions if you see on this particular topic, but it is very non-straightforward and very analytical and interdisciplinary in nature. So themes like this will be the part of the X factor notes and X factor discussions and sessions that we do. So we have a generalized framework that we have prepared so that we have a more structured approach to the notes. So for every topic, we found out what the syllabus that we are talking about. Then we are talking about all the PYQs that would have come pertaining to that topic. And then we give a one-pager answer writing framework. You have your own creativity to play around it. But in our best opinion, these are the frameworks that you can use. And if you see, like for this example, you not see the general Gisapeta pestle approach or institutions approach, because which you can, but they should be at the thing that you should do at the last resort, because it makes your answer very mechanical. It makes your answers very basic, not finding a better word for it. But if you see this is how we feel that if you are getting a question on this topic, this theme, so these are the different lens through which you can analyze the particular topic. So example for if it's about constitutional morality or evolution of constitution and how it's performing, the 6 major lens is one, the constitution itself, the premise on which it has been built, the rule of law, or the supremacy, the morality, the coordination, separation of powers. These concepts you can analyze. The second one, it's three, it's pillars: the executive, legislature, and judiciary. And unke jo internal components hai, uske lens se you can do. And the fifth one is being its impact on society and its convergence with everything which is a social aspect as well, in terms of social justice and affirmative actions, social mobility, so on and so forth. And the sixth one is one with the very practical articles, the Supreme Court judgments, committee recommendations, which has to be a very core part of your entire mains answer anyway. And in conclusion, would tell you that what should you keep in mind so that you get that half mark extra. And that half mark in every question probably makes a huge difference. It seems very trivial, but that could either change your service or could decide whether you're in the list or not. So we will have this value addition stuff like at the beginning itself. Like, so if it's about constitution, we have 3 quotes ready. You go by preparing only 2. You have an extra quote here as well. But there will definitely be a question about constitution, which is very abstract. And if you're not getting anything extremely relevant, like 100% relevant to answer that point, you'll always have a quote to introduce, or you'll have a quote to conclude. And especially in conclusions, what I found out that a lot of people just write gender statements or write just the SDG goals. But again, that's very basic. When you have these ready-made quotes as well, which is being served to you on plate, then it makes your preparation also effective and save your labor and time as well. So if you see, there had been abstract questions about judiciary, about federalism, about constitution, about separation of power, things like that, which are the general concepts that we read in polity. And our idea is to, when we discuss that themes, we'll have this value addition content at one go itself. So if you see, we cover the themes, like these are something that will not get in one particular topic. Let's say it's not like you'll have constitutional morality not as one of the key words even in the syllabus. So when I say that I made topic-wise notes based on the keywords of the syllabus, and a lot of topics did, and which is the right way to do. But you did not have constitutional morality, let's say, as a keyword, right? You did not have constitutionalism as a keyword, let's say. And so you had evolution of constitution as one. But we break down that keywords of the syllabus and make it more contemporary and more relevant and analyze through various relevant lens. So here we see that we have the constitution and then the functions of the constitutions with the relevant value addition material, the mentions of articles, the mentions of concepts like DPSP, the schedules, the parts of the constitution. These are like you get the key components, but also you get the value addition material line-wise, topic-wise. We'll even try to refine it in further revisions that we would be doing so that it's even more effective. And that is where I am coming in from an recently ex-aspirant point of view, who comes in and tells ki this might be very ideal when somebody is making this content, but I would refine it further and make it in a way where I'll add content which I feel is more relevant and which I feel makes a difference to give you that very high GS scores. And second, to refine the existing content in a way that it is more that suits your palette in a more easier manner as well. So you have all the very basic things are very concise as well. You do not require a lot of elaborations on topics. So we have done that in a way that in which we found that you'll require a little bit of substantiation. We kept it that particular topic thoda zyada lamba. But if you see the ones which are very straightforward, it not like substantiated just for the sake of it. So that's also something that we'll be extremely careful about the length of the notes and the way we deal with it as well. So also, like for example, like when you like talk about let's say you take Lakshmikant, and we have this argument ki Constitutional Assembly was criticized because we borrowed a lot of topics from different constitutions. And there's an argument which was given by Ambedkar, and he said this is famous quote and everything. But there's also very top-notch quality where you given additional content. Let's say, no, we did not borrow exactly, but a lot of these constitutional ideals and constitutional morality premises were derived from Indian philosophy, from Indian administrative setups, from Indian history as well. So these are these minute innovations that we are trying to find out in X Factor notes, which will give you that 1 or 2 mark extra in each of these papers. And that is the difference between a 350 and a 450 in GS mains. And that is the goal of smashmains X Factor notes. We have these various themes regarding that. You see constitution as a living document, but then we'll have these very academic names as well, like what is constitution, which is Darwinian in nature, and who had said it, Woodrow Wilson. And it feels overwhelming at start, but this is the kind of preparation it would require, and we're serving it to you. You do not have to do this research. I had done that when I was preparing for some of the topics in which I felt, and that is where I'm giving the input here, that an aspirant did not have to do that on their own, and let's mitigate that gap with the X Factor notes. Then we have the achievements of Indian Constitution, covering the various aspects as well. The limitations and challenges with the contemporary examples. The concepts like constitutionalism, its courts, thus relevant Supreme Court judgments. What does that mean in Supreme Court judgment? It's something. And for example, if there's a constitutionalism, there's a question, you know what's it, and let's say you write it in your own words, and probably the same thing that's been written, that's a legal principle that requires a control over the exercise of the government, you write in a very plain language which is understandable. But if you mention it's mentioned in IRT locales, that adds up to the beauty of the paper, and that's what we're trying to give it. The content is pretty rich here, very content dense and very content heavy is what the main premise of these notes are. So we have the principles of constitutionalism, and if you just mention Henkin as a name, because somebody coming from PSIR background would be very familiar with it, but not somebody from sociology. But I would always be on a mission to look forward these very basic themes that, let's say, a PSIR guy would be putting in a polity paper, because I would put a lot of sociological concepts, a lot of very basic sociological themes in my society answers. And I felt that if we could integrate all these optional, very basic things in our general GSK things as well, that would make your paper look more academic and would make it more rich and ornamental, and that is also necessary. So that's how the beauty of these notes are as well. You have the relevant diagrams and the 360-degree perspective to the topic as well. I mean, this document will upload and we'll be sharing the link in the description here as well, and will be put forward in the website too. But this is what you can see. There's ample use of articles, ample use of parts and sections and schedules of constitution. Lot of constitutional, court judgments have been mentioned here at relevant places. You have these SC judgments on constitutional morality at one places. You have the differences in a tabular format to increase your conceptual clarity. Last year we had 215 markers that ask using judicial pronouncements, using judicial precedents and court judgments, we do these explain whatever it was. I think that was about gender justice, and one for Article 21, right to life and liberty. So for a lot of these themes, we have all these court judgments at one particular place. This list is obviously as can be made as long as possible, but it's an ample amount of court judgments with their premise and context being there, which is written briefly. You do not have to do a PhD on well-known citizen court, right? But you'll have to go through this and make sure these are in your fingertips, and you'll be able to reproduce this organically. So across your preparation, you would have come across these judgments at various places. This would be there in silos, but bringing everything at one go and one place is something that we're trying to do, so that everything is at one place. And when you see everything, the 360-degree soft to you at one place, then that gets internalized even more in a more better way. So, and these are the things that an aspirant would empathize, and not somebody probably who was an aspirant and is now an educator and have been in the industry, because they probably have the knowledge, but the way to present it to the students so that it's more palatable is what I feel me being a very recent aspirant would be able to empathize with my fellow aspirants as well. So you have the Supreme Court judgments on various topics on children or gender or tribals and minorities all at one go. So this covers the entire theme about constitution, constitutionalism, the moralities, the ideals about it. Similarly, we'll continue similar X Factor notes for various other topics across the papers, GS 1, 2, 3, 4 as well. So, bottom line being, smashmains is all about test series, but test series required a lot of evolution, and that is why the need for X Factor notes and X Factor notes discussions and sessions on that, which will be taken by both me as well as the coach CB Civilsdaily team. And the third is we have the good mentors who had mentored me and who had evaluated my copies, and they would be there for evaluation as well. And I would be taking a generalized feedback and would be giving a feedback on the different tests that you write and point out that what could make your score improve by 1 mark in every question, so that you get edge and cross that 450 marker or even probably beyond. That is the goal of Smash Wins 2024.